Hey guys, this is Matt, and you are watching TV Punch for Wednesday, October 14th, and today I'm going to talk about The Flash Season 2, Episode 2, titled Flash of Two Worlds. This premiered last night, and this episode was amazing. So, if you watched my last Flash video, you know that I was a little underwhelmed with the Season 2 premiere. I mean, it was good, and I liked it for what it was setting up, but I didn't love it as a single episode. But this episode completely made up for that. Again, not that the last one was bad, but this one was phenomenal. This one was probably one of the best Flash episodes that we've gotten yet of either of the two seasons. And it set the bar really, really high for what's to come. So, as usual, I'm going to talk about some of the major plot points and some of the things that I thought were cool in this episode. I'm definitely going to spoil. There was a lot of really spoilery things in this episode, so I'm definitely going to spoil some stuff. So if you haven't watched it yet, pause this, go watch the episode, come back. You'll be glad you did. But let's get right into it. The opening of the show with Jay Garrick as the Flash versus Zoom on Earth 2, and just kind of seeing them speed around the city and their battle on the rooftop, and seeing Zoom steal Jay's powers, and we get all that explained to us later. We see Jay get sucked up into the singularity, and we see his helmet get sucked up, which was cool because we saw his helmet come through some kind of portal near the end of last season. So just seeing all that was cool. Seeing another speedster that wasn't Flash or Reverse Flash, and of course you got the Blue Lightning, and just, I don't know, I'm kind of geeking out about it, but the whole opening bit was really cool. The suit for the Flash of Earth 2 for Jay Garrick Flash is really well done. I never really loved it in the comics. I've got to admit, I know it's kind of old timey. I've never really loved it, but in this is probably the only time I've ever liked a live action suit better than what's in the comics, which is pretty weird. But great opening to this episode. I'm going to go ahead and throw out my theory on Zoom. Now, this is based on almost no information whatsoever, and I may very quickly come to find that this isn't possible or isn't right, but for right now, my theory on Zoom is that he is Future Barry. Now, from which Earth, I'm not sure, but I think it's Barry from the future, because this same kind of thing happened in the comics recently, where a future Barry, kind of an old and grizzled and battle-worn Barry, donned a blue Flash suit, and he had the blue lightning and electricity crackling around him, and he realized that his existence made the lives of his loved ones worse. So basically he set on a journey to go back through time to take out all the villains that he should have taken out originally, and then the last thing he wanted to do was take himself out. So he went back in time to actually kill himself so that he would never exist, so that all this other bad stuff wouldn't happen. Now, I don't know if that's going to be true, because we've already seen that if somebody kills himself to make another person not exist, things still happen. So I don't really know, but that's what I'm going off of for right now. That's all I've got. I don't think it's going to, or I hope it's not another Eobard kind of thing. I hope it's something a little bit different. That would be a pretty big mind twist if it was a future Barry trying to do that. So I guess we'll see what happens. I loved all the multiverse talk. Earth 1, Earth 2, Professor Stein drawing out all the different Earths on the board, trying to explain to Joe and everyone how the multiverse works. I thought that was awesome. Talking about, I thought they were going to go the direction of 52 Earths, but I guess they wouldn't really know that, although we did get at the end of the episode, they're referencing 52 portals, or 52, not singularities, but yeah, 52 portals that I guess they all cross into Earth 2, or maybe it would be cooler, I think, if all of these 52 portals actually crossed into other Earths, and that's how we get the 52 other Earths. I don't know what's going to happen with that. All I know is I love it. It was cool to be watching a TV show talking about multiple Earths. I know we've had that before. Sliders comes to mind from the late 90s or the mid 90s, I think, if you remember that show. But just the fact that we have a Flash show, and we've got Earth 2, and we've got all these Earth 2 characters coming over, and we've got doppelgangers. which is really neat. So they touched on that a lot this episode. So we have we see the doppelganger for the Sand Demon, but we see his Earth 1 self who doesn't have powers, and they mistake him for the Earth 2 version who does. All of that stuff was really neat, and I think my theory on the doppelgangers is that that's how we're going to get Caitlin as Killer Frost. So I don't think that the Earth 1 version of her will ever become Killer Frost. I think that we will see her, though. I think the Earth 2 Caitlin is going to be Killer Frost. I don't know how long she'll last, or maybe she'll be a permanent fixture, but I think that's how that whole thing is going to come about. We did see Killer Frost in a very quick Easter egg at the tail end of last season. I think that all of those visions that Barry saw were of Earth 2. And I think this can maybe support my theory a little bit of Zoom being future Barry, because if you remember, as Barry's running in the past, he sees all these glimpses. He sees, again, Caitlin as Killer Frost, but he sees a vision of himself sitting in a prison cell. At least I think that's what I saw. So maybe the Barry of Earth 2 is kind of a bad guy, and he eventually becomes Zoom. I don't know, but I can see all that working together in some weird, twisted version of what's in the comics. It may not happen at all that way, but that's what I'm going with right now. We see Barry having major trust issues with Jay, and really with anybody who tries to help him, if we go back to last week's episode. But really, this is all because of Harrison Wells, and he explained it very well to Jay in this episode that he had a mentor who he idolized and he trusted, and this mentor taught him how to use all of his speed powers, and then he up and stabbed him in the back. He was somebody else. He was somebody who Barry thought he wasn't, and he's scared to get close or to get in that sort of mentor-mentee relationship again with anybody else. But I like when Jay said, "I'm not him." That's a tough break, but I'm not him. And Jay, throughout the course of the episode, earns Barry's trust, and he shows him how to use a new speed power, which I'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, it was. I kind of thought it didn't really dawn on me right at first. I kind of thought, wow, Barry's just kind of being a dick to this guy. But then it became clear, and he did explain later that it's just Harrison Wells really did a number on him and on his mind and his trust of other people. But it was good to see that he overcame that. In this episode, we meet Patty Spivot. Now, I didn't really like the character of Patty Spivot in the comics that much, especially when she was introduced in the New 52. I didn't like her just because she wasn't Iris. And Barry and Iris are supposed to be together, but she kind of grew on me. And I think they're not together anymore in the comics, I don't think, but she's still a main supporting character in the comics. But in this episode, she was fantastic. She was a great character. She had a lot of spunk. She had great chemistry with Barry. They seemed like they had a lot of similar interests. I like that she's going to be sort of a romantic foil for Iris, and there's going to be kind of that love triangle there. We spent all of last season seeing Barry pine over Iris, and sure, Barry and Iris are going to wind up together. We all know that. But I kind of get sick of them longing for each other, and of course Iris isn't ready yet to be with Barry because she's still kind of getting over what happened with Eddie. So I like that Patty Spivot's here, and she has an interest in metahumans. She has a personal interest in metahumans because of what they did to her father. But she's gonna be good for Barry. I think she's going to make him loosen up even a little bit more than he already is. And he's finally going to be able to be happy. We got a quick little Easter egg. We actually saw Oliver, a.k.a. Green Arrow's, coming out speech on TV from the season premiere of Arrow last week when he announced to Star City that he's going to be the hope for the city that the Arrow couldn't be, and that he's the Green Arrow. We see that same broadcast on TV. That was pretty cool. That's another great way to bridge these shows together. So in Arrow last week, they mentioned that there was a high-speed rail built from Star City to Central City, and then now we've got this bridge too. We got the nice little line from Cisco that said he hates when people put colors in their names, like Green Arrow and Red Arrow and Blue Beetle and other. There's tons of other examples, but that whole thing, just an Easter egg, just a fun way to just remind us that these shows exist in the same universe. Not that we needed that reminder, but it's cool to always see those little nods to other shows. So I mentioned a minute ago that Jay helps Barry learn a new power, and we see that. So basically, Jay helps Barry learn that if he runs fast enough, he can actually take the energy that's building up around him and then direct it in basically just like a force blast at whatever he wants to. I kind of thought that he picked up on it a little bit quick, and they even mentioned that near the end of the episode that Jay said it took him a lot longer and that Barry's a quick study. But Barry said he's only been doing it for an hour and he's already almost got it. I mean, I thought that was a little bit of a stretch, but it was fine. It was cool to see Barry use that power, though. I wonder how often we're going to see him use it. He's been using his arm tornadoes, I guess, a lot more. So I like the creative way that he uses power. He basically fried the Sand Demon into glass, but then he fell over and shattered into a million pieces, which means that Barry killed a guy, and he didn't seem really torn up about it. So that kind of thought that was weird because there's this whole no-killing thing, and, Oliver's big no-killing thing. But whatever, it was cool to see a new power. I don't know that we've ever seen that in the comic before. Maybe we have, and I just don't recall. Let me know in the comments if we have. But that was a nice new addition to the Flash's skill set. So my favorite part of this episode was a complete recreation and nod to the cover of Flash number 123, titled Flash of Two Worlds. This is the comic that started the whole idea of a multiverse. This is the comic that brought Barry Allen Flash together with Jay Garrick Flash for the first time, and we get an awesome recreation of that. I'm actually going to show it right now. I hope I don't get in too much trouble for showing copyrighted video. It's only going to take a second, but check this out.
Flash? Coming.
So I loved that. I about lost it when I saw that scene. It totally didn't need to be there. It was a complete Easter egg and a nod to the hardcore fans that recognize that that's such a monumental issue, and it means so much to the lore of DC Comics and the multiverse and all of that stuff. You wouldn't have Crisis on Infinite Earths or any of that other stuff without that one single issue. So it's a big deal. It's arguably the most important comic ever to bear the DC Comics logo. I know that's debatable, but it is really important because of the multiverse and because of what it set up for years to come. And the creators of this show totally paid homage to that and gave us something just to totally geek out about. So we saw some more of Cisco's abilities. He does the weird warp into... Now, in the last episode, I thought it was him peeking into another Earth, and it must have been because Atom Smasher and Zoom were on Earth too, but this time around, he actually gets glimpses of things that have already happened in this Earth. So I guess maybe if he's in touch with all these vibrational frequencies that he can see anything, anywhere, I suppose. We do see him start to, I don't want to say control it, but he recognizes it and he acknowledges it and he uses it to his advantage this time to help find out where the Sand Demon is keeping Patty Spivot. And but at the end, Martin Stein finds out, or he tells Martin Stein about these abilities, and he's completely freaked out about it, saying that Harrison gave him these abilities, which I didn't think that was the case, but I could be wrong. But that Harrison is evil, and he's scared that maybe he's going to turn evil or something like that. So he doesn't want anyone to know, which I don't love that. Just like Martin Stein said, Cisco, of anyone, should be completely excited about these abilities, but he's trying to keep it on the DL. He's not really sure about how they're going to turn out yet. And we aren't either. So that'll be exciting to see how he utilizes those. Again, just like I said last week, I don't know if he's going to develop and get vibe-like powers like controlling shockwaves and stuff, or if maybe he's just going to be more of some kind of wacky fortune teller, I guess. I don't know that he can see into the future, but he did mention that he's seeing things that have already happened. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of that and to see if any other powers develop from this. There's a quick scene at the end that introduces Joe's ex-wife and Iris's mom. We don't get much of that yet. She calls Joe a couple times throughout the episode, and he doesn't answer the phone. We don't really know what happened to them or why they're not together. I imagine we're going to find that out for sure. But I'm pretty sure anyway, that her being there is the way they're going to introduce Wally into the show. I don't know how yet. Maybe her sister or brother comes to town, and I don't really know what's going to go on. But I think that's why she's there, and she's probably there to further develop Joe and Iris a little bit too. But she is going to be the gateway by which Wally enters the show. And then probably my second favorite part of this episode happened right at the end. We get a glimpse at Earth 2. So this was really cool. Earth 2 has kind of this really neat Art Deco style to it, kind of a 1940s look to it. It's not. I mean, it looks like it's present day, and obviously their Star Labs is there, and they're talking about Star Labs, and you see a train or a monorail. So it's not stuck in the past. I mean, there's modern technology, but it does sort of have this classic aesthetic to it. That's a nice little nod to Jay Garrick as well, and that whole golden age of heroes. I really liked just seeing that. I hope we get to see more of it, because it was I don't know, it was really, really well done, and it just had a great look to it. And then, of course, the big twist at the end was the introduction of Earth 2 Harrison Wells. So basically, there's a tour guide bringing a group of kids through Star Labs and talking about how it was established and who established it. And here comes Harrison Wells walking out of an elevator and just says, "Hello, kids." So the question is that really Harrison Wells from Earth 2? Is it Eobard Thawne taking over Harrison Wells? If it is it Earth 2 Eobard? Is it Earth 1 Eobard who somehow survived Eddie killing himself? I don't know. I mean, my mind is racing just thinking about what it could be. I kind of think that it's the real Harrison Wells. I kind of think that this is it's the real Harrison Wells from Earth 2, and he's going to wind up on Earth 1 working with Team Flash. And the reason I think that is because Harrison Wells in this show, in this universe that they've established, he is a big part of it. And if Eddie killing himself last season, which erased the existence of Eobard, did not undo anything else, then in Earth 1, the real Harrison Wells is still dead, which means we need a replacement. So I think that this is the real deal, and I think that he's going to make his way to Earth 1 and hang out with Team Flash, which would be pretty cool. But I like Martin Stein. Martin Stein has been filling in that role these last couple episodes, and he's got a great rapport with Cisco. I want to see more of that, but he's going to get shipped off to Legends of Tomorrow at some point. So I think we are at some point going to see the real deal Harrison Wells, the nice guy Harrison Wells, join Team Flash. I can't wait for that. Just like I can't wait for the rest of the episodes of this season. I wish I could get them all into my face now, but then it would be over before I know it, and that wouldn't be cool. So I'm going to do videos about each one of these, so be sure to subscribe by clicking the button below. You can also check us out at youtube.com/nerdpunch to see all of the upcoming videos for Flash and Arrow and Walking Dead, which we've got one coming up, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all this other cool stuff. You can also check us out at Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, all those /nerdpunch. And, of course, we've got nerdpunch.com, where you can check out all the other stuff that we're posting online. And it's a great place to check our schedule for upcoming videos. And that's it for this time. So thanks, guys, for watching. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.